Hello, and welcome to the very first, and maybe only, Dr. Wigo on food video. Because I don't cook. So I eat out a lot, I have things delivered, I order in, I reheat, I heat up things that I buy at Costco, that, you heat up. So I'm not really a cook. But for Christmas, my friends Brian and Christina, and Brian's mom, both got air fryers for Christmas. And they have not shut up about how awesome their air fryers are. So, and this is the important thing, how awesome they are for reheating things like pizza. Well, I eat a fair amount of pizza and I reheat a fair amount of pizza, so yeah, okay, now I'm interested. By the way, the reason I'm doing this video right now today is because today for lunch, I went to lunch with Brian and Christina. By the way, y'all do know you can skip ahead. There's a chapter stop. You don't have to listen to my whole long story. But we went to Stoney River, which is a steakhouse, a nice upscale, but chain. And, it's fancy, but not too fancy. I ordered the cowboy ribeye with the bone in. When the server came by to ask how it was, I said, well, it's a tiny bit overcooked. I wanted it rare, and this is more medium rare. And she said, oh, I'll get you another one. I said, no, this is fine. I don't want to wait that long. I'm starving, and this is fine. Don't worry about me. Just as I'm about to finish my steak, well, finish the part I'm going to eat, because I can only eat about half. Cowboy ribeyes are huge. As I'm about to finish, here comes the manager with a new steak that has been cooked to perfection. I mean, I cut it open and it was like the exact shade of rare I like. I mean, it was very rare and I like very rare. And I said, you didn't need to do this. He said, no, I want you to be happy. Well, believe me, I was already a customer for life, but now I'm really a customer for life. But I have half of the steak that I ate, which was medium rare, and I have a whole rare steak, ribeye, that are gonna need to be reheated. And I hate reheating steak in the microwave and the oven takes too long. Well, looky here. I have this lovely air fryer, which is perfect for reheating. I think, in fact, it even says, yeah, reheat, right here on the box. It says reheat. I'm shooting this video way earlier. I intended to shoot it, I think, next week sometime. If you watch the camera video that was dropped on last Sunday, well, that was yesterday. So I'm doing this like right away because I want to be able to, I have to open it and I don't want to open it and go, because I need to unbox it. So, anyway, that's the whole long story of how we got here. This is the Sur La Table air fryer. Now, why did I pick this particular air fryer, you might ask? I went on YouTube, watched a bunch of videos, because that's what we do, right? We look at videos. So I looked at a bunch of videos, and there's a lot of them are the basket kind, where you pull out a basket and put stuff in, which is actually more like a fryer kind of feeling. This is a door, has doors and racks that slide in. One of the main differences is those little baskets tend to be like 5 quart, 6 quart. This is 13 quart, 12.3 liter capacity. It's big, and you can put in 2 racks, so you can be air frying multiple things at the same time. It's also a rotisserie. It does shish kebabs. Well, you're going to see when I unbox it in just a minute. Now, there are a lot of videos about this from after Thanksgiving, because Costco had this as a Black Friday deal for $80. So a lot of people bought them, and like we do, they made videos and put them on YouTube. So I watched a lot of those, and it helped convince me that this was, now by the way, it's $120 now. It's not $80 anymore. That was a Black Friday deal. So I paid $120. By the way, if your local Costco doesn't have it, not to worry. The Costco website, Costco.com, you can order it from there. That's how I got it, and it was shipped here. And it got here in like a couple of days. I mean, I was very pleased. Anyway, you don't want to hear me go on and on about why I bought it or how I bought it or what. You want to see it, don't you? Well, hold on, and we will start unboxing this baby. So I wrestled this thing out of the box. So this is what comes in the box. Now the first thing, there's this cardboard thing up here. Oh, this is obviously the rotisserie, right? Right, because their thing, and then they got, okay, so this is for the rotisserie. This, from watching the videos, I know this is the handle for putting the rotisserie in and out. Here are the skewers, if you're doing shish kebabs. So here are the skewers, and I think they go through something like this, maybe. We'll find out. I'll read the book later, but they obviously hook on here, so you can have multiple shish kebabs on the rotisserie turning. Here are your little pokey things for putting on into a chicken or whatever. So if you want to put a whole, you can roast whole chickens, well, air fry. We'll find out. It does a lot of things. This looks like it's the actual rotisserie piece of metal, you know, the thing that goes in the rotisserie. Well, wait, there's a quick way to check. Remember, this is the thing that's supposed to, yeah, look, it fits right on there, so you can lift it in and put it in. Especially, I think it's not so much, that's not so much for putting it in as for getting it out. And now we have the actual air fryer itself. Now let me turn it back upright. This is what the thing looks like. Oh, but we're not done with accessories because there's more inside. Oh, and remember how I said the baskets? Well, guess what? It comes with a basket. So even though it's the door kind and not the basket kind, it has a basket that you can put in there. So when you're frying things. Oh, and this, I love this in the videos. It slides in, well, here, I'll do it here where this camera can see it from above. And you can also maybe see it from over there. So you unlock this, and then you can squeeze this in here and get it in, and then flip that back over. So now you have a handle, but the handle comes right off. So once you put the basket inside, you can flip that up, squeeze that, take it off, and then when you go to get it out, when it's really hot, because it'll have been in there for, 4 to 10 minutes, 12 minutes at 400 degrees or whatever, you can just flip this back and you get your rubberized handle again, so you don't have to burn your hand getting this out. This is a really cool little thing that comes with. Actually, there's a whole bunch of things in here. It has a little thumb screw. And remember our little friend, this guy? Well, you can loosen the thumb screw, put that in there, tighten the thumb screw back. So when you're like loading your chicken or whatever for the rotisserie and doing all that kind of stuff, it has a stand to keep it upright. Or, again, there's a thumb screw on here, so apparently this goes on the end. But when you're doing your skewers, you can like set this up. But so you can use this to set up your skewers on the rotisserie, and then when they're all set up, you take it out, use the fancy handle I showed you to drop it into place inside. So that's kind of a cool thing. Now the other cool thing it comes with, this is for French fries, or things like French fries that you want to. Because one of the problems with air fryers is that the air has to get to all sides of whatever it is you're air frying in order to have the best results. So you can't just have, if you watch the videos where they do it in the basket time, they have to put them down and you have to leave space around, and then halfway through you have to stop and flip them all over. I don't. I've got the handy dandy basket, so you put your French fries and stuff in here, you drop this onto the rotisserie, and the rotisserie will sit there and tumble your French fries or whatever you have in here in the basket, wings, I don't know, and whatever you want that you don't want, if you have more than you can lay out and leave space, you just dump them in the basket, and then the basket will turn and do your French fries for you. And it's got this thing that locks. See, you put it on there and it turns. Oh, but wait, there's more. We have the trays. So when you want to do things, you got a tray. And again, because it's so big, Whoa, apparently there's 3. I thought there were 2. Here's another tray, and then yet another tray. So you can really go to town air frying things on these trays. And you see these trays have, there's a little rack, there's one, you can put one up there. I don't know what's going on, there we go. So you can have 3 levels. Now this bottom one's not very, don't have a lot of room, so that's for very flat things. But these other 2 are pretty good. Or, you know, you don't have to have all 3 trays in there. You put in however many trays you need. Oh, wait. I'm not done with trays. So these trays are all open air. And again, for air frying, you want the air to get the top and the bottom. This tray is closed, so that is all of the accessories. The door is nice and thick, so you know you're not going to get a lot of heat escaping. And it has the international symbol for hot on the front. Well, I think we ought to plug it in. Caution, always using a well-ventilated area. Oh, that's the other thing. I just happen to have this space here on my counter. So see, when I'm not using it, I can push it back. And then when I do want to use it, I can pull it forward. By the way, note to self, do not push it back right after you use it because it's going to be hot. So I will put it back later. And now it has a little power button on there. And there's your temperature, which you can set on with the plus minus on the left side. And you have the time, which is apparently the default is 380 for 15 minutes. I believe it will go up to 400. Yep. I think that's all air fryer. I think that's because of the temperature that the oil will burn at. Oh, and if you get one of these, don't use olive oil. It's very nice. It's got a little groove around here. Oh, this is for air. There's a light. Yeah, there's a light in there. There's a little thing, a little symbol, rotary symbol. I'm thinking that's probably the rotisserie. And then there's the presets, which of course are written tiny and I can't read. So right now, my voiceover will be telling you what those say. French fries, meat, fish, toast, pizza, chicken, cake, whole chicken, dehydrate, reheat. Pretty damn cool. That's the unboxing. So it has a quick start guide, how to use the accessories, the frying basket, the drip tray, which I imagine is the one without the holes in it, I guess goes at the bottom to catch anything that drips through, hence the name drip tray. The frying tray used to dehydrate or fry crispy snacks and reheat food. Rotisserie stand, which I showed you. The rotating basket, which you've seen. The skewers rack, which you've seen, which is essentially the same as anyway. The skewer forks and the handle tool. And then here are the pictures on how to do all those things. So those come with. Oh, they include a recipe book. This is the owner's manual. English on this side, in Espanol if you turn it upside down. So there's your owner's manual. And here's some pictures. I'm going to do this so that the overhead camera can see it rather than hold it up over to you. So I'll zoom in over here. So see, there's the basket being used for French fries, but of course you would use the rotating basket for French fries, not the basket with the handle. As you can guess from my intro, I will be using Reheat a lot. They have a menu chart, like French fries, 400 degrees for 17 minutes, but you can go from 1 to 90 if you're on French fries. Dehydrate, you can go from an hour to 24 hours. By the way, I've watched a whole lot of videos, and most air fryers do not try to use them as dehydrators because they don't really work. But apparently this one does. how to use the frying basket, how to use the skewers rack. It's got, well here, again, I will show you up here. Well, whenever I go to show the camera something, then the next page, it's a cooking chart, and then of course, then the rest of it's in Spanish. That's the end of the unboxing. That's not the end of the video because I have to reheat one of those steaks. And so that will be our first test. And we'll find out, by the way, one of the things about air fryers is a lot of them apparently, the first few times you use them, they smell bad. So I'll be able to report on that. So, well, I say stay tuned, because it's gonna be, for you, it'll be instantaneous. For me, time has passed, and I'm ready to reheat this steak, which, as you can see, is covered with butter. So I'm going to reheat this. Now, I have my tray, and I have my 8.5-inch perforated squares of parchment paper. Oh, also, I am not cooking the original steak, the second steak. Remember I told them they brought me a second steak that was perfectly rare? I'm not doing that one because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm trying it on the leftover piece from my original steak that was overcooked. So this one's probably going to end up being overcooked because it was already up towards medium rare, and so after I cook it again, it's probably going to go to medium. But my daddy was a big steak man, and he taught me a trick. When you're reheating steaks, he used to always cook extra steaks and then put them in the fridge. And oh, by the way, this has been sitting out here for an hour getting to room temperature. So I did not take it straight out of the fridge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to butterfly it. I'm going to cut it in half. I mean, look, see, it's between medium rare and rare. Really slippery. Note to self. When steak is covered with butter, be careful because it's really slippery. And there it is, nicely butterflied. Look at that, it looks gorgeous. I'll smear a little bit of this butter on here. See, now that's going to be perfect on a piece of bread, a big, like a big piece of bread. And I have some big bread. Now I also have some mashed potatoes with caramelized onions on top. That's what that little rat's nest is on top. So I'm going to throw those in there too, because that's what I would do in the microwave. And okay, so now I will go away for a little while and preheat this to, I think, 380 degrees is what was recommended. And then you're supposed to cook this in 2 to 3 minute increments, checking the internal temperature. I can report that there is a kind of, it's not a really bad smell, but it's not a good smell. Things don't smell real good right now. So, and I was told almost all air fryers, especially if there's non-stick stuff involved, apparently there's some chemicals get released the first couple of times. He said, it's not real strong, it's not putting me off. I wouldn't ding the thing for it, but it doesn't smell good. Okay, we're down to 3 minutes. So now in goes the meat. I'm going to put down some paper towels. Yeah, and there's some juices down in that tray. Did get a little smaller. So watch it would fit on one. It's just a little too big. It's a little too small for these pieces of bread. While we're here. So that was test number 1. Again, smells not too bad. Steak's not quite hot enough, but again, didn't have a meat thermometer. I'll have a thermometer when I do and I'll do the next one. So the test on the leftover steak that I had eaten part of that had been slightly overcooked in the first place turned out amazing. Yeah, okay, it wasn't hot enough because I didn't have a meat thermometer, which I have since gone to Target and remedied. So I can make sure it's a little warmer. But it was warm-ish. But more important, it was still rare. I mean, it was still red. Medium rare. But I mean, it was still red in the middle. I am no longer, if I'm using this, if this does that good a job, I am no longer going to butterfly and then put them on steak sandwiches. I'm going to reheat them and eat them as steak. Let's see how it turns out on the full thing, but now with a meat thermometer so I can make sure it gets up to 110 degrees inside, so it'll be warm enough. But I also got a little oil sprayer because you're always, so I'm going to spray, and we've had our 3 minutes, so in we go. Apparently I forgot to turn on the overhead camera, because basically if I can do this, anyone can do this, because like I said, I am cooking impaired. Okay, I'm really hungry, so oh, speaking of smells, that kind of bad smell that, again, wasn't really that bad, or that strong odor from using it the first time, not smelling anything this time. Well, actually, what I am smelling is steak and onions, because there's caramelized onions in there too. And as they heat, they're releasing, and it smells fantastic, and I'm starving. So as soon as this comes out, video's going to be over. The inside's still under 100. Well, guess what? I'm too hungry. It's coming out. And the potatoes are starting to toast a little on top. Okay, that looks pretty rare to me. Actually, though, heading towards medium. And it's plenty warm. That was the best reheated steak I have ever eaten in my life. Now, it helps that it was a fantastic steak to start with, so kudos to Stoney River Steakhouse, who cooked it in the first place. This air fryer, I have probably, in my life, I've eaten literally hundreds and hundreds of steaks reheated in a microwave. And they never came out like this. Well, just look at this. Look, this is what's left, on the bone. Look how rare that still is. Now, admittedly, I took it out before the temperature got to where it needed to. It wasn't 110 degrees in the center. It was more like 100. And yes, a few of the bites were a little cold, but all of the bites, well, and again, the ones around the outside, where of course they got the most heat, were the least rare. They were still rare. It wasn't like that, but it was still pink. But there was a brown edge to it that was, quarter of an inch thick around. But unbelievable. So I cannot recommend this highly enough. Again, if you're like me, if you're only going to use it to reheat things, it reheats steak phenomenally. From all the videos I've seen on YouTube, it reheats pizza phenomenally. It reheats also, and I'm going to every now and then to throw in a food video where I will show you how to cook something in here, like French fries. Speaking of Brian, in a recent video, I told you that he was thinking of starting a YouTube channel. Well, he did. So it will be linked down below. Here, I'll put a link to his first video up here. Channel's called Diecast Fever. This is his hobby. He restores like 50-year-old Matchbox and Hot Wheels kind of die-cast cars. And you'd think, well, really? But trust me, it's fascinating watching him strip the paint. It's like watching somebody restore an old car, except they're this big. And he takes the paint off, he strips the paint, he repaints them, he cleans them up, he Die-Cast Fever. Check it out. On this channel, the next thing coming will be the remote video that I promised like weeks ago when I put the Blu-ray player in the master bedroom. So that'll be the next video on this channel. And then I already have one pretty much done for after that, but that one's a surprise. So you'll have to just keep tuning in every week to see what that one is. But for this one, let me just say one last time. This is the most amazing appliance I have ever owned. And I own, by the way, a $250 toaster that takes toast bread up to this long and that wide, and it's got programming. This blows that away. By the way, I'm still going to use that because that's toast. Although this does do toast. And you can do grilled cheese sandwiches. And I hate doing the grilled cheese sandwiches on the cooktop but apparently you just butter the bread and put them in here. Well, again, keep tuning in. There'll be more food videos down the road. Not very many. That's not my thing. But I'm sharing my life with you, so enjoy. So that's it for today. Go buy one of these, or if you don't have to buy one of these, buy an air fryer, because apparently they're amazing. I can't tell you. So, bye-bye. See you next time.